So Roehl Transport is actually an interesting and unique mega carrier. The CEO and owner of the company, Rick Roehl, actually possesses a CDL himself. So he drives trucks every now and then to keep the license current, of course. The company itself grosses $500 million in revenue every year. So basically, Rick Roehl is a multi-millionaire, but he's also a blue-collar multi-millionaire. So surely he understands the plight of an average truck driver, right?
They don't care. They want their money. Rick Roehl is a poor multimillionaire and he needs his money. He's only got 2,000 semi trucks, folks.
Dang, that's a shame. Well, guys, first things first, I just want to mention this. If I timed this video correctly, today is December 14th, and it's actually my birthday. I turned 25 years old today, and I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in every single Saturday. You guys are the greatest gift I could ever ask for. Without you, there is no me, and I really love each and every one of you. But back to the rest of the video, of course. Now, I don't know this driver's name, but we're going to call him SGC. And SGC highlighted multiple red flags with company-sponsored CDL training. And if you guys are unaware about my position on company-sponsored CDL training, I think it sucks. In fact, I made a video about this about 5-6 months ago. I'll leave it in the description box down below, but I think it is trash. The pay for rookie truck drivers is not enough. It'll never actually justify the cost of the trucking school. You are literally subjecting yourself to indentured servitude, and if you leave the company before your contract is up, guess what happens?
You're going to work for this company for anywhere from a year to 2 years, depending on the contract. And if you quit or get fired within that 1 to 2 year time period, they have the right to come back and sue you for the training balance.
Yeah, so I just think that the best path for somebody who wants a CDL is to really avoid company-sponsored CDL training if they can. Save enough money to at least pay for half of a third-party trucking school cost, maybe at Roadmasters 160 Driving Academy, or even see if you qualify for federal grants. But I think that company-sponsored CDL training should definitely be a last resort. Rookie truck drivers may in fact realize that trucking is not for them, but when they realize this, it may be too late and they're tied up in a contract that costs several $1,000s to get out of. And for those of you who are unaware with Roehl's CDL training, it's basically called GYCDL or Get Your CDL. The training itself is 3 weeks. Well, the first part, the phase 1 of it, is 3 weeks. That's basically where you learn the parts of the truck, the pre-trip, the obstacles, the road tests. Yeah. So Roehl actually is a company that claims that they are unique in the sense that they hire you from day one, even though, of course, there's nuance to that. Every truck driver that gets hired is a conditional hire pending a background check and a drug test. And if you guys didn't already know, yes, Roehl does urine and hair follicle testing. And what's interesting about their CDL program is that on their website, they say the following. If you were to go to a CDL school, you would not get paid while you are training, and you'd have to come up with the tuition for the school. Well, what's crazy is that they also mentioned that the phase 1 part of the Get Your CDL program is 3 weeks, but you don't actually get paid until the 3rd week. So essentially, you're not getting paid while you're preparing for your CDL test until the end of the 3rd week. You're basically in the hole for 3 weeks. So how are we affording this, truck drivers? I thought the economy was bad. How can people afford to be in the hole for 3 weeks? That's interesting to me. But like any other mega carrier, orientation is every Monday. So I guess people are making it in the hole for 3 weeks. And of course, on their website, they don't mention the cost of the CDL program because obviously nothing is free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. But if you were to just, do a little bit of research, eventually you'll find the true cost of their company-sponsored CDL training. And here's the truth about the cost of company-sponsored CDL training at Roehl. The truth is, it's either indentured servitude or you pay $7,000. Now, the former involves driving 120,000 100,000 miles. And the latter occurs if you quit or you get fired, which unfortunately happened to SGC. Of course, I'll leave the link to his channel in the description box down below. Now, SGC aired out his grievances with Roehl Transport. He's a rookie truck driver and he only has less than 3 months of experience, which is a shame because he probably could have found a better situation at a different company. But unfortunately, if he were to find another carrier, he probably have to take a pay that's comparable to what he was making at Roehl. And allegedly, Roehl only paid SGC 45 cents per mile. Let's take a look at that.
I literally work 70 hours a week for less than minimum wage. I'm getting 45 cents a mile. They don't care.
Now, here's a couple things about that. What I found interesting about these mega carriers is they love to advertise their pay and compare it to the national average as a way to just grandstand and gaslight incoming truck drivers into believing that that's how much they're truly gonna make. On Roehl's website, you can see on your screen that drivers in the drive-in division average $65,000 a year at Roehl compared to the national average of $22,000 to $36,000. Considering that driver claimed that he made 45 cents per mile, it seems like his average income for the course of the year, if he were to stay at Roehl, would have been more consistent with the $22,000 to $36,000, not the $65,000. I'm assuming he did drive in while he was at Roehl. And another thing, I also thought that Roehl Transport did like a sliding scale type of pay structure because I was actually interested in working at Roehl at one point, and the recruiter couldn't tell me a concrete cents per mile because they have pay for short haul loads that pay up to $1.30 a mile, and then they have pay for long haul loads that pay less, as low as 30-40 cents a mile. So your pay can actually fluctuate, and then you'll have like an average CPM. Now, maybe the rates are just so bad that his average CPM is actually 45 cents per mile, which is unfortunate, of course. But regardless, considering that CPM is the primary way that drivers at Roehl Transport get paid, staying out longer obviously means that you make more money, and Roehl actually has pretty generous home time options. Basically, on average, you can get about a day and a half-ish of home time for every week that you're out, and it caps out at 7 days for 36 days out on the road. And of course, all this home time that you get is unpaid because, mega carriers don't really believe in, paying out paid time off unless you, work for them for a year and burn yourself out. But I digress. So SGC wanted to take advantage of home time. After all, he had been out for 18 days and he wanted to be home just in time for the November election so he could vote. But Roehl Transport had different plans. They wanted to route him to Gary, Indiana, 8 hours from his home in Southern Ohio, so they can fire him and leave him stranded.
She informs me that they're going to go ahead and let me go. They're going to go ahead and fire me. Because on October 24th, I was a half an hour late, and I was 10 minutes late for a load going to downtown Chicago. And then I asked him, how am I going to get home? I'm 8 hours from my house. I obviously can't drive your truck home. They left me stranded in Gary, Indiana. I had to borrow money from family to get home.
And this company is so scummy that if they find out that you're quitting, they will actually garnish your paychecks your last couple weeks there. In addition, if they were to fire you, if they knew that in advance, they'll still garnish your paycheck, which is unfortunately what they did to him.
So right now, I'm in the midst of Christmas season with property taxes due in January. I'm trying to find work. I got bills due. Roehl took $700 out of my last 2 paychecks. I'm trying to pay my bills, put food on the table, pay my property taxes so I don't lose my house, and I got Roehl beating down my door wanting $6,000.
And why did Roehl even fire him again? Because he couldn't trip plan properly because he was late to some deliveries. Rookie truck drivers are late just as much as veteran truck drivers are. It happens to all of us. There are situations that are out of our control. He even said it himself. He was in Chicago traffic. Chicago traffic is insane. It's winter time. There's going to be weather delays. Traffic is crazy, but at least he's being safe. He's not, putting himself and others in harm's way. Like, I don't understand why that's the reason to fire anybody, unless there's more to this story, of course. Maybe he can actually get an opportunity at Schneider. I don't know. But Roehl Transport seems so petty to me that I speculate that they'll actually put this termination on his DAC report and say that he violated company policy, which obviously hinders his employment from other places. So SGC, if you're watching this, I would strongly advise you to, go on higher right and maybe dispute that if they put that on your DAC report. And hearing stories like this just further illustrates why I am against company-sponsored CDL training. And personally, I was on the fence of going to Roehl Transport. People do leave great reviews about the training at that company. Even the driver, SGC, he left a great review about Roehl Transport. A YouTuber that does trucking videos that I respect a lot, B2 Speaks. His first trucking job was at Roehl Transport, and he thinks very highly of the company. But that $7,000 tuition and that mileage requirement of 120,000 miles definitely turned me off. When I got my CDL, it was during the freight recession. Allegedly, the freight recession was between 2022 and it just ended, allegedly. I need to make a video about that. But yeah, I knew trucking was in a down market when I got my CDL. So I knew it was going to take a very long time for me to actually get those miles, those 120,000 miles at Roehl. Even though in a normal year, it would probably take about a year to get 120,000 miles. But it wasn't just the miles or the tuition costs. The driver reviews also affected my decision not to go to Roehl. Like I said, it was a down market when I got my CDL, and truckers consistently complained about the miles at Roehl. In addition, the company actually has inward-facing cameras on their trucks, which is a violation of your privacy. And I learned recently this week that it's actually illegal to put inward-facing cameras on a truck.
Prime could possibly get sued.
Oh, it's about to go down.
In 2023, Swift realized that, hey, you know what? We need to take these damn cameras out the trucks.
So Roehl may be breaking the law, JB Hunt may be breaking the law, Hirschbach, Prime, even my company, Quality Carriers, they all may be breaking the law. Interesting. And lastly, I want to end the video by saying this. I spoke to a recruiter at Roehl because even after I got my CDL, I was still interested in going to that company for training. But even then, they still had a mileage requirement. Now, since I already had my CDL, my mileage requirement was 40,000 miles, and not 120,000 miles. That's insane. 40,000 miles is a lot more manageable, but this company is so scummy and so greedy that if I couldn't finish that requirement, I would be liable for $3,500. That training is worth $3,500 if I already have my CDL. Mind you, they pay their drivers $112 a day to work with a trainer. Truck drivers work 12 to 14 hour shifts. So for less than minimum wage, which is what I would have had to endure during your training, I'd have to pay $3,500 if I were to quit early. Miss me with that. But hey, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about SGC getting fired allegedly for being late on some deliveries? Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? Do you think that Roehl Transport's CDL program is overpriced? As always, you guys are the best audience on the internet. If you enjoy videos like this, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm Taja Woods, and I'll see you next time.